Today, we're zeroing in on a source that I think gets to the heart of personal growth.
Oh, yeah.
It's all about how we make choices. We're looking at excerpts from Coach Renee's Breakthrough Bulletin, the one that's focused completely on decision-making.
Ah, yes. That one is incredibly sharp. It's not just, a flow chart. It really gives you the philosophy behind it all.
Exactly. The philosophy to turn hesitation into actual action.
Right.
And so our mission here is to pull out those key ideas that can move you, our listener, out of that feeling of being stuck.
That analysis paralysis she talks about.
And into what the bulletin calls courageous clarity. It's about, taking back control.
And the promise she makes is, well, it's huge. She says when you learn to make decisions that are actually aligned with who you are, you unlock this incredible momentum.
You stop waiting for permission.
You stop waiting. You stop letting outside circumstances dictate your life. It's all about awareness, courage, and then the follow-through.
Okay, so let's start there with the big picture. What's the philosophical shift we need to make?
Well, the philosophy starts with this idea that decision-making is a quiet superpower.
A quiet superpower, I like that.
Yeah. Every single choice, big or small, it sets your path. It builds momentum. It reinforces whether you trust yourself or not.
So the stakes feel really high.
They do, but Coach Renee is very clear on this. The pressure to be perfect, that's the enemy.
And that's such a relief to hear. I mean, the bulletin says, you're not here to be perfect. You're here to be powerful.
Exactly. It's a massive perspective shift for anyone who's a chronic second-guesser.
Which is a lot of us.
It's most of us, because perfectionism, it's paralyzing, right? It asks for a guarantee that life just doesn't give you.
But being powerful, what does that actually mean?
It means informed movement. It means having the awareness of what you want, the courage to actually choose it, and then the follow-through to see what happens. It's a process, not a perfect one-shot deal. And
that leads right into this idea she has about outsourcing clarity. What does that look like?
It's so common. Outsourcing clarity is when, instead of just trusting your own judgment, you wait for some external event to kind of force your hand.
Can you give an example?
Sure. Like you want to start a side business, but you say, oh, I'll start it when I get that promotion, or I'll do it when the market gets better.
You're waiting for the universe to give you a green light.
The universe, your boss, the economy, anyone but yourself, you're waiting for the choice to become easy.
And if you wait for everything to be perfect, you just never move.
You never move. And that delay, that constant checking for signs, it just kills your confidence and drains your energy.
So the whole point is to learn to trust that you have enough information right now.
Right now. To take the best next step. It's about self-leadership.
Okay, so let's unpack this. If we're aiming for powerful action instead of just waiting for perfection, the bulletin gives 3 really sharp, actionable tips. What's the first one?
The first one is foundational. It's clarity before commitment.
I think this one really targets that emotional trap of rushing. We just want to get the discomfort of choosing over with.
We do. We decide just to stop the feeling of uncertainty, not because we actually have direction.
And the focus here needs to be on sustainability.
Exactly. A decision is only sustainable if it's aligned. It has to match your values, your actual bandwidth right now, and your long-term goals. If it hits those 3, it feels natural.
To get to that alignment, she offers this great little micro-step activity. Before you make a choice, you write down answers to 3 prompts.
First one is, what I want is.
Simple enough. Second, what I know is.
And this is the most important one, what I fear is.
By writing down the desire, the facts, and the fear, you've suddenly defined the problem. You've pulled it out of that emotional fog.
And that awareness is the whole breakthrough. Most of us skip that fear part, but that's where all the resistance is hiding.
When you name the fear, you kind of disarm it.
You do. It lets you choose from clarity instead of, anxiety. It makes the choice conscious.
Okay, so we have clarity. But how do we stop ourselves from immediately second-guessing it 5 minutes later?
That brings us to tip number 2, which is all about momentum. Decide once, then move.
This one is huge. She has this line that says, your energy isn't lost in deciding, it's lost in redeciding.
It's so true. That internal debate you have after you've already made the choice, it's exhausting. Momentum only rewards commitment.
And she says to back up that choice with a confirming action within 24 hours.
Yes. The example is simple. If you decide to join a class, don't just think about it. Go register for it immediately.
That action seals the deal.
It's the evidence of your own decisiveness. If the answer is yes, you send the email. If it's no, you delete the request. It closes that gap where doubt starts to creep back in.
But let me challenge that for a second, because things change, right? What if I make a firm choice, I register for the class, and then an hour later I find out some new critical information that totally changes things?
That's a really fair question. The rule isn't never change your mind. It's stop constantly questioning the decision before you've even let it play out.
So there's a difference.
A huge difference. If genuinely new information comes up, something that affects your values, your bandwidth, or your goals, then okay, you can do another quick clarity check. But the point is to stop reopening the case just because of old anxiety.
So distinguish between new data and old doubt.
That's the key. You have to respect the decision you made with the best information you had at the time.
Got it. Okay, on to the third tip. This one feels like the perfect antidote to feeling overwhelmed. It's limit the options.
We just live in an age of total choice overload. It leads to decision fatigue. So when you feel that happening, the fix is structural.
You just narrow it down.
Force yourself. Narrow it down to 3 viable options.
And here's the crucial part. The ranking isn't based on what's comfortable. It's based on values alignment.
And that takes courage, because the most aligned option is often the hardest one.
Right. Comfort keeps you stuck.
Exactly. But if your values are leading, the path suddenly becomes so much clearer, even if it's challenging. Fewer options, prioritized by what actually matters, that creates powerful clarity.
This is where the bulletin gets really interesting for me, because it moves past just the mechanics and into these deep questions that are designed to build your inner authority.
Yes, it's about changing your internal operating system. These questions are meant to bypass that usual fear loop.
The first one is, wow. It asks, what would I choose if I trusted myself completely?
It's liberating, isn't it?
It is. Because when you ask that, you immediately shut down all the external noise, what your parents think, what your boss expects.
All of it. It brings the decision right back to you. It encourages you to listen to that first instinct, which often has the wisdom your analytical mind is still trying to figure out.
It's about making your own authority the default.
Exactly.
And the second question is maybe the most motivating. It's about the cost of delay. What decision have I been avoiding, and what's the cost of my inaction?
See, avoidance is the real enemy of growth. We're always calculating the cost of making a wrong choice.
Right.
But we almost never add up the cost of doing nothing. The lost opportunities, the lost time, the lost peace of mind.
Naming that cost.
Yeah.
That brings a real sense of urgency, some brutal honesty. You realize waiting isn't free.
And once you've named that cost, say 6 months of wasted energy, the bulletin says, now write down one courageous next step.
That's the bridge from just thinking to actually doing.
It is. And all of this, the clarity, the commitment, naming the cost, it all comes together in this final exercise she calls the Decision Lab.
The Decision Lab. It's basically your personal confidence building workout. It's how you practice being your own leader. It's a pretty clean 4-step process.
Step 1 is simple. Choose a decision you've been avoiding. Could be anything, a personal, professional, big, small.
Step 2, set a 10-minute timer. And that timer is so important.
It is. It stops you from spiraling.
For 10 minutes, you just focus on those questions again. What do I know? What do I fear? What do I want? And you make the best decision you can with what you have now, not the perfect one.
Then comes step 3, the accountability part. Turn decision into action within 24 hours.
So if you decide to fire that difficult client, you send the email. If you decide to spend more time with your family, you block out the time on the calendar.
The follow-through is the only proof that the decision actually stuck.
And finally, step 4, debrief what you learned. This is the reflection piece.
Which we so often skip.
We do.
Oh.
But you ask yourself, how did it feel after I took the action? What did this teach me about how I make my best decisions? This is how you fine-tune your own strategy.
So when you put all of this together, what comes out is this really powerful truth. You don't become decisive by waiting around for confidence to show up.
No.
Confidence is the result of choosing, acting, and then reflecting on it. It's a practice. You prove to yourself over and over that you can lead your own life.
It's so empowering to realize that the only thing you need to get better at making choices is to just start making them.
And you know, there's that great quote from Cicero that sums this whole thing up. He said, more is lost by indecision than wrong decision.
Wow.
Indecision isn't neutral. It's the thief of opportunity, of energy, of momentum.
So just think about that for a second. Where in your life right now are you losing momentum because you've waited too long to choose?
And what would shift if you chose differently today?
That's really the question that matters. The power to move is already there. this just gives you the tools to unlock it.
It really does.
We've covered some real breakthroughs today, I think.
Mm-hmm.
That What I Want No Fear tool is so simple, but so powerful.
And narrowing your options down to 3 based on values, not comfort. That's a huge one.
And finally, calculating the very real cost of inaction. That brings the urgency.
Applying these ideas.
Yeah.
That's the path from just knowing something to actually growing from it.
If you found these insights valuable for sharpening your own decision-making and accelerating your growth, we invite you to subscribe. Join us for more opportunities like this, where we turn dense information into knowledge you can really use. Thank you for exploring these concepts with us today.